He was a more popular figure, I think it's fair to say, with the secular world. Certainly, the left of centre, left liberal press were much more enthused about him because he seemed to be more open to their worldview than his predecessors.
Yes, I think he had a knack for speaking in an intuitively emotional way, and certainly a comfort with being spontaneous that certainly Benedict XVI never had. He was very much an academic, a scholar. You couldn't imagine Benedict being comfortable giving an in-flight press conference, which sort of became one of Francis's hallmark ways of communicating with the world. And Francis was a firm adopter of things and causes that are very popular in the wider secular and liberal press. The cause of environmentalism, things like that. I think, in a sense, he both created and benefited from a false impression of himself amongst the secular media, that he was seen to be less Catholic somehow than John Paul II or Benedict XVI when it came down to certain issues that people outside of the church want to see or demand to see, like the ordination of women, things like that. He was right in step with his predecessors. He just appeared more fluent in front of them. But then again, they had a way of overlooking the things that Francis would say that they disagreed with. So you see a lot of coverage of Pope Francis, having a sort of "who am I to judge" approach, the great soundbite, even though it was a very narrowly given one. But you saw rather less coverage of the Pope calling the practice of abortion a eugenics practice and assassination with white gloves. That's not a quote that circulated very much in the New York Times or the Guardian or things like that. So I think there was a sort of self-selecting impression of Pope Francis, that people took him in the way they wanted to, and very few people made an effort to see him in the whole.